Now joining us, Congressman Eliot Engel of New York. He's the ranking member of the House Foreign Affairs Committee. Do you believe the president has the legal authority to go ahead and unilaterally allow 3.5 million people who don't have documentation right now to remain in the United States?
Well, let me say, first of all, I think it would be preferable to have the Congress do it. The Senate sent a bill to the House 16, 17, 18 months ago, and the House hasn't acted on it, mainly because Speaker Boehner knows that if it was brought to the floor, it would pass. And the leadership there didn't want the bill to pass. I believe that the president, this is a last resort, and Congress still has a chance to pass that bill or some other kind of bill, but I think the president is frustrated that nothing seems to happen. We have 11 million people here who are undocumented or illegal, any way you want to say it, and they're not going back. And so in my way of thinking, it's ridiculous to have these people in limbo. We all know they're here, we all know they work. I think what the president's doing makes sense, and I think he would not be doing it if he thought that he didn't have a good, sound legal basis to do it.
Because for 6 years he repeatedly suggested he didn't have the legal authority to go ahead and take this kind of action he's about to take. Here's a clip, a separate clip. We earlier played a clip of what he told Univision a year or so ago. Here's a year and a half ago, February 2013. Listen to what he said then.
This is something that I've struggled with throughout my presidency. The problem is that I'm the President of the United States. I'm not the Emperor of the United States. My job is to execute laws that are passed. And Congress right now has not changed what I consider to be a broken immigration system.
All right, so what's your reaction when you hear him give that argument? That's a year and a half ago when he said he's the president, he's not the emperor, and he simply can't do what he's about to do. Has he flip-flopped?
Well, I guess he thought that Congress would certainly have passed something, and now, again, it's a year and a half. I think his preference would be, and my preference as well, that the Congress acts. But if the Congress is simply not going to act, he's going to do what presidents before him have done. Ronald Reagan and George H.W. Bush both acted on immigration, and I think that he's factoring in the fact that there has been inaction by the Congress over these 17 or 18 months.
One of the things, presumably based on our reporting, he's not going to do is allow the parents of the so-called dreamers, the kids who grew up here in the United States, about 600,000 he gave temporary legal status to earlier through executive action. Those parents are not going to be part of this new group that will have access to some sort of legal status in the United States. Is that a mistake on his part?
Well, I don't know, and I don't know what he's going to do or not do. I just know he's going to do something. Look, I think it's a mistake for Congress to punt on this. This is a burning issue. It's an issue of fairness and equality. The Senate bill that was passed had a little something for everyone in it. It had tighter border security. I'm not one of the people who thinks that we shouldn't have border security. I think that we have a right to secure our borders, but I think we can secure our borders and at the same time be compassionate to 11 million people who are here to stay. You go out anywhere in America, in the suburbs or any place, and see who's taking care of people's lawns and doing the kinds of jobs that nobody else wants to do. These people are here, and we want to make them work their way to citizenship. The Senate bill, I think, provided a 14-year term before many of these people could become citizens. That's hardly amnesty. I just think that the Republicans are being ridiculous and unrealistic about all this. And I think the president is frustrated and fed up, and I think he's made the decision to go ahead and do the kinds of things that presidents before him have done.
Should these millions of people who are now going to get some sort of legal status to remain in the United States be eligible for health benefits, federal health benefits, for example, because we're told they won't be?
Well, that's another issue. I think that the first issue we really need to deal with is taking away the limbo that these 11 million people have, and then we can make those other decisions afterwards. But I think that the plan, that bipartisan plan that was passed by the Senate that makes these people work their way to citizenship, 14 years in some instances, pay a fine, and continue to do what they've been doing. No one believes. And if the president does nothing and Congress does nothing, these people are going back. They're here to stay. We ought to make a system that works, and I think that's what President Obama is trying to do.
Elliot Engel, the ranking member of the House Foreign Affairs Committee. Congressman, thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you, Wolf.